Hi, everyone.
To our conversation today. I'm very curious to hear from Charmaine. Charmaine, we call her the career doctor.
Wow, thank you very much for this title.
She's a PhD. I've also been following your post, and I like some of your punchlines. So this time around, you're going to talk about employability.
Right, yes.
We're going to tie into sleep later on, but first, let's hear from Charmaine. What's your take and tips on how do you improve your employability? So how do you define employability to begin with?
Right. So I guess people can define employability differently, but for me personally, when I define employability, really it's all about how attractive you are, how relevant you are to the job market at any single point in time, right? Regardless whether there are changes in the external environment, right? So for instance, let's talk about, say, in the extreme case, well, not really extreme, as in we're all living through this day and age now where there's a lot of automation, there's a lot of digitalization of processes, right? If you're someone who says that, look, I have been working 20, 30 years and I seldom touch the computer, or I seldom deal with automated processes, then you've really got to pull up your socks in that sense, right? Because with COVID, with this pandemic, it has actually forced, right? It has accelerated or even forced certain industries to quickly adopt automation, right? So it's this idea of being constantly relevant to whatever sector that you're working in, or even to industries across the workforce or across society. I think that's very important. So that's how I personally define employability.
So it means constantly upgrading ourselves, and rather than resisting the upcoming technology of changes.
Yes, exactly. But of course, there are also other definitions of employability. They will say, okay, how do you, for instance, excel in the interviews? How do you show that you're very employable? And then from the angle, we wouldn't be just talking about being relevant or having updated skills to match whatever the industry requires, but it's really this larger or this broader skill set that you have, which is adaptability, right? So come what may, regardless whether there are other changes that are coming along the way, whether there's a new wave of a trend that's coming out in addition to automation, right? You actually show your employer or your prospective employer that you have the adaptable skills to pick up anything new along the way. Willingness to learn, willingness to change, and more importantly, how quickly you pick up those skills, how quickly you become familiar with it, right? Because of course, we have to be very realistic. Sometimes we want to do something, but we may not be able to do it well.
It's very real, right? I know that I've been working with clients, and they have the will to change, but they can't, for example, right? And that's where the mindset of the willingness to learn something or do something different, and sleep will be one of the
definitely
things that will help as well.
Exactly. From my perspective, I think that sleep is actually a very good in fact, it can put someone at advantage when it comes to learning new things. And I think there has been quite a number of research that shows that students who sleep well the night before the exam, definitely they have a higher likelihood, right? Of doing better in the exam, because the brain functions better, right? Similarly, also students who sleep well the night before they come for class, they pick up new information more quickly.
Faster.
The memory retention is also there. Right. So I think if of course those studies were on students, but then again, there's no reason why we can't translate this, or we can't apply this to adult learners.
Correct.
Now that we know the importance of sleep and how it affects our learning as adults, how do you think? Perhaps you can give us some nuggets. I know it's already in your book, but maybe you can entice or show some little brief summary or nuggets on how we can sleep better. So that it helps us to learn better as well.
Just to add on what you said just now, I mean, I know you use the kids, but we say we can also, it's applicable to anyone, not just students.
exactly.
Just now, you mentioned things about if you sleep well the night before, then you perform better. My emphasis about sleep is not just a short-term 1 or 2 nights before. So I'm referencing back to adults. If we accumulate, either the popular word is, people use the word sleep deprivation, or you collect sleep debt. You know, your credit card debt.
That's a common term, yes.
That's a common term, yeah.
Yes,
so if we collect too much of those over time, it does impact on our health quite significantly, that sometimes we can't even make the connection to, like, example, let's say, for me, I said you accumulate your sleep debt for, if you are 40 years old, you could have accumulated it the past 20 years. And then you have some important interview coming up.
Right.
Or a promotion interview kind of thing, not just interview for a job. So it's a big jump, right? Significant. Right. Then you say, okay, I'm going to sleep well the night before.
Can you pay back that debt?
Exactly. So that's not enough.
Exactly, right.
You can't just
so many years.
Yeah, if your credit card debt is a lot, imagine that where are you going to get just metaphorically, that a lot of money to cover that debt, to pull you through. Sometimes it helps, but I'm looking more from a bigger perspective, or a larger, broader perspective of health. Like, it's not just a one time kind of like the night before. It does help a little bit, but a long run, like Charmaine, you mentioned about this adaptability. Yeah, it's easier. We know it's easier said than done. Like, I also want to adapt, right? With COVID hit. There's a pivot, everybody pivot, and how to pivot. So it's we need a huge capacity, mental, emotional, physical, whatever capacity to do the pivot. Like me doing Facebook Live, not sure about you, Charmaine, me doing Facebook Live itself is a huge pivot.
But it's an achievement that you have just unlocked.
In that sense, yes. So it's not a one snap of a finger kind of thing. So my book is very different. It's not something that you can Google. I created this thing called a phase 0, because my point is, by the time you hit, if your bedtime is 12, approximately, by the time you even start to prepare at 10, I go like, that's too late.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Means there's nothing you can do. If you toss and turn still by 12, at that moment in time, there's nothing you can do. You go and pop sleeping pill or melatonin and stuff, but that's a quick fix.
Yeah.
So my book, the part that I really, really, really love, love my own creation, is that phase 0. Now, normally we say there's 5 phases of sleep. So the one I add in is called phase 0. Means what can you do, not just the night before, but on a regular daily basis, if possible, to really get your brain around, to retrain your system that sleep is a priority. That's what the title of the book is. Making sleep a priority, a part of your life. It's not the last thing, whatever balance time that you have in your day.
Exactly. Some people actually see sleep as a luxury. So they don't see it as a necessity. But they say that, okay, let me clear everything that I need to do in my life first. And then when I have time to sleep, I will keep the pillow and sleep. I do have to confess that in my younger days, I'm still quite young. I used to be pretty much like that. Yeah. But then again, I'm pretty fortunate in the sense that I know sometimes people have trouble sleeping. I don't have the problem of having trouble sleeping, but my issue is the reverse, which is I tend to need a lot more sleep than others. Yeah, and sometimes part of me wonders whether it's really the duration, right? Or rather, it makes me wonder whether it's because I have poor quality sleep. That's why I have to sleep longer. Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
Does your book cover little tips?
Yes, it does talk a little bit of
very well.
Correct. My book, as in me as a BodyTalk practitioner, my underlying philosophy is listen to your body. Whatever your body needs. It's not, you can't be following, the clock is fixed. Right? Just be following the clock, right? I know there's a lot of theories out there, which of course I have learned, either Chinese medicine or whatever it is, sleep by X number of hours. So my book is not about that. That you can Google. Right? Google can tell you a lot of stuff, but it's pretty much to understand your own sleeping problem to begin with. Like you were sharing, right? Is it because you can't fall asleep, or some people wake up many times? So the first step is to really know your issue first.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, otherwise you're just trying to follow this system and that system, and there's no, you are tailor-made, by the way, you are unique.
Yes,
so
all of us are unique.
All the systems are guidelines for you to use, not to blindly follow, and then if one doesn't work, then you jump to another. So that's not the kind of stuff that I do. So it's pretty much like the so-called the steps or the chapters allows you to first identify your own issue and what are the stuff and tips that you can do to help address the stress during the day. So by the time you hit 10 o'clock, for example, then your body is ready to sleep.
Exactly.
And so it's not a one day. So there's also a technique in the book that will show you what you can do. So it's also some how-tos rather than just a bunch of theories.
It's all your years of experience that you have gained and gathered, and then you kind of put them into very raw form. I actually personally appreciate that you mentioned that it's raw form.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want is something to be so curated or so perfect.
Perfect, exactly. The words are quite proper. That's just my style. It's just
exactly.
Maybe eventually, if I were to really write something to kind of publish and sell, then that's a different story. But right now, I'm just very excited to get it out and at least get my effort out. Because that's one of the things that caught me awake. You know, if I don't sleep well, that's one of the key features that I realized that is happening to me. I felt like there is tasks that I have not finished.
Oh, right. Okay.
But it can keep me, even if I talk to you right now, right? There's something that I didn't tell you. That little thing can keep me awake.
Oh my goodness. Okay. You feel free to text me anytime. Okay, Irene. I don't want you to over.
So yeah, I mean, it took me, believe it or not, it took me months and years to even realize that. So it's not a one day thing.
Wow.
So
that's quite dangerous. And I think when an individual goes through chronic sleep deprivation and sleep deprived, like perpetually sleep deprived, right? Of course, you're gonna see from the physical appearance, you're gonna see the ugly side of things as well, right? Person maybe look haggard, looks older than usual, have very bad complexion. You may also see that the person, having very little energy in the eyes, very little energy to do anything like in general, right? Because he or she is just stressed perpetually because of the lack of sleep. But at the same time also, of course, then it affects you cognitively, right?
Correct.
Which brings to my next point, which I certainly thought about it, is, when you're going for interviews, right? Of course, you don't want to hire someone with low energy, correct?
Yeah.
You definitely want to as a hirer, when you see someone, a prospective employee, you want him or her to be full of ideas, to be very, how should I say, very innovative, very willing to learn and be able to adapt to things. I think these are the top skills, in fact, that employers are looking for in the current millennium or current era. So if you have someone who's perpetually sleep deprived, he or she may not be able to embody or portray these characteristics that employers are looking for, which then again, affects his or her employability.
Correct.
Yeah. Whether we like it or not, first impression counts.
Yep.
Human beings are all we all visual. A lot of us are visual creatures.
Correct.
So even if you're saying that, oh no, I'm actually, even though I'm sleep deprived, I can still do work, your employer will not be able to get that signal, because the employer will just look at you, this guy or this lady looks a little bit haggard, doesn't look too quick on his or her feet. Maybe I shall not hire him or her.
Yeah. I think what's more scary for me, interesting you mentioned that, what's more scary is what if, right? What if the person go and pump up with RedBull? I'm just being sarcastic, right? So really, right? What if I feel very haggard, so I put makeup, I pump up with RedBull or whatever else, and then I go to the interview, I'm very energetic.
Yes.
But the way you mentioned, right? The being relevant and adaptability is throughout your career.
Exactly.
Right? It's just not getting the interview, then you can't perform, then you get even more stress.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's
the reason why we tend to, as employers, you would ask questions about, can you share about your past experience, how you perhaps demonstrated some level of innovativeness which helped your company, right?
Correct.
So it's not just the appearance. But then again, Irene, I like how you talk about RedBull because this is a trick that some people use, especially when they're preparing for an interview the night before, and then the next day they wake up looking really haggard. They try to put in RedBull and try to perk themselves up. It can have the opposite effect. It can cause you to appear very twitchy and very hyperactive.
Like a bit hard, a bit on something like a bit hyperactive.
Yeah, like very high strung, very high strung.
So too high strung
that employers don't want either.
Exactly. So this thing is that, can you sustain? How long can you sustain that?
Exactly.
Because it's like, whatever it is, I think that one of the few points that I also have with regards to employability will be very important, will be problem solving skills.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to think on your feet.
Right.
In that kind of context, right? You can't just say, I can perform. It's like all neato, right? All words, but then cannot, no action, talk only, right?
Talk only.
So it's pretty much that long term. So we're looking more for a long term solution of employability.
Correct.
Which sleep can help, but problem solving skills. I'm just speaking. Coming from employing someone. There's one important criteria that must have: initiative.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
but if someone is like, and it's not that you can't. We're not talking about your capacity, but if your energy is low, you haven't have enough sleep. You got no mood to be in it, to want to, initiate.
You don't have the energy to do anything else.
Exactly. So if I suggest this new idea, then I gotta do it.
Yeah. Because you suggested it, so of course you should take ownership of it, lah.
Right? Alright, then it's a self-sabotage, in a very big thing, right? Then if you don't suggest, then you are not adaptable, or you're not very you're not attractive in that sense. Like then you project, and then I will count you out for future meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a very interesting chicken and egg look.
Correct. Exactly.
Remain in. I suppose now the employability, I suppose, will include being able to hold that job, or what's that word for it? Sustainability, or being employed.
Being continuously employed. Of course, but then again, this is for a separate session. Sometimes it's not a good thing to be employed in the same company for too long. Well, of course, it's a good thing if your employer wants to keep hiring you. That's not a problem. But from the employee's perspective, it's not a good thing for you to stay in a company for too long.
Right.
Yeah. So
but you have the skills, you have the abilities, which means you go anywhere, you will still be able to bring your optimal quality with you.
Exactly. And there are studies that have shown some of the disadvantages of staying in a company for too long. I'm not saying it's a job hop. I'm not saying every few months you hop to another job. Yeah, you have to work a few years, prove your mettle to a certain extent, and then after that, move on.
Really, if you don't really get sufficient sleep over time, you become very grumpy.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's one.
The hormones.
But I think grumpy, as in then you start to be gossipy. And then after that, I think the scariest thing would be making assumptions. Then you're a little bit paranoid. What is the colleague saying about me? What's the boss saying about me?
Wow, that's company culture there, right?
Yeah, correct. So I felt, just from some experience of some clients, right? It felt like it all stems from that lack of sleep and lack of energy, right? Then they become very short-fused.
Yeah, you become very easily agitated. A bit more temperamental. And I did post a video about hormones lah.
Yep.
I think a few days back or something like that. I can't remember. Where I talked about happy hormones and how not getting enough rest actually messes up the level of the balance of hormones within your body. And when that happens, it just affects you emotionally. And of course, then again, there'll be downstream effects, right? Because when you are temperamental, you may blare out at your colleagues or your co-workers and family, and after that, everyone just gets angry with you after a while.
Exactly. Maybe we can expand on this hormone talk in our next event, because when you talk about that hormone thing, I felt like it's more interesting that we talk about that in this event. It's happening on this coming Sunday. This requires you to register, so you can find the QR code here. go in and you can register.
It's $7 for this one. Yeah.
Okay. It's just $7. It's just.
Then again, of course, there are gifts that we're going to give away during the session,
Yes.
which is definitely worth
definitely worth $7. Yes, correct. Definitely worth $7. Because I'll be also sharing with you one of the BodyTalk techniques. So it's a very hands-on. You can learn something, not just for work, is for your life, is for your health as well. So yes, do scan this QR code and join us on this coming Sunday afternoon, 3. And yes, this is something, a free gift from Charmaine.
Oh, yes, right. So yes, because Irene gave out her free book, right? So I cannot lose.
Very good competitive mindset.
Yeah, in fact, those who are watching this will win even more because they get this. So actually, I do have this event, and it's also a very short class, about 1 hour long, 50 minutes to 1 hour long, about how you can improve your employability, right? So of course, in the session, I will be talking about various techniques that I personally use to improve and increase my employability, and of course, get jobs that I want, right? When you increase your employability, you have the power to choose which jobs you want to take, right? So it's not just employers choosing you, but you choosing the employers whom you want to work with. So that's what I will be covering quickly in that 1 hour session.
So is this going to be live, or do they need to register somewhere?
Yeah, so this is they would have to register on the Eventbrite. I think I can post the link to the Eventbrite event later on in the comment section. But if you check the Eventbrite page, it's actually $8.
Okay.
But for whoever's watching this, it's free.
Oh, it's free. So how? So you're gonna get? Oh, so you're gonna get this code Better 2022.
Yes, exactly.
Free. Awesome.
So
and
I'll just put the link on for Eventbrite later on, Irene.
Yeah. Or please, I'm going to share Charmaine's Facebook page. So you can click and follow her page. So when she announced the Eventbrite link, then you will be the first, and you have this code. The rest of the people needs to pay $8.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And it's happening on the Sunday after. Next Sunday.
Correct. Now it's the next Sunday. So you are busy on weekends as well.
Yes, definitely. Well, I guess it's when sometimes in December you kind of feel a bit more motivated to do things, because the new year is coming. You want to get some work done.
Right. I suppose this might be a time. I'm not too sure. This might be a time where people considering changing jobs and to get some tips, learn how to at least the winning mindset.
Yeah.
To empower yourself so you can choose jobs, not being chosen and be the victim of you're not good enough to know they can
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
I think that is really important, and I think that is how you. That's when you have the power to choose the jobs you want. I think that's one of the best indications that you are highly employable.
Yeah,
and that's highly sought after.
That's an excellent point.
But Irene, I love what you talked about when you said, now it's December, some people may be looking for new jobs. Actually, based on my experience, when people get their bonus in December, sometimes they don't leave after that.
That's true. But I don't know. I haven't been in the employment for a long time, but still people, I don't know. Actually, I don't know, but it's just a guess. But people don't leave because maybe they feel like, especially right now, right? Or past 2 years, maybe the mindset is like, will I get another job better than this?
Right, exactly.
But if what you said in the beginning, if you get some tips and learn something new, and that might give you a perspective shift altogether, and then you feel empowered to look for a job and push yourself up to a next level.
Exactly.
And higher it, even what do you call it? More employable.
Right. So for me, of course, when for me, it's exactly like what you said. When I get my bonus, I see my bonus, so little. Okay, time to change job.
Correct.
So it can go either way.
Yeah. But it doesn't. I think it's still a win either way, that you still learn something different.
Right. Of course.
Up your self-worth.
Exactly. Yeah. And like what I said, employability. This is learning how to be more employable. It's not saying that you have to start looking for a job now.
Correct.
It's a skill that you can take back first, And then along the way, you can always apply it as and when you feel that it's time for you to move on to another job.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's always important to be equipped with a skill first.
Be prepared. Be prepared.
Correct. So when a job comes, then you are ready.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Right.
Now, our Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
So yes, this is the ebook, like Charmaine is generously sharing as well. So this is my first ebook, and I'm giving it for free. Initially, I said I'm going to give 100 copies, but I've always reached the limit. It looks like I've decided to extend.
Oh, that's really nice of you.
Yeah, but I just felt like it's really meaningful if people read it and they benefit from it. I think that is the payoff for me. Yeah. And how can you download this book? My favorite QR code. So please scan this QR code. It will lead you to a page that you can view or download the ebook instantly.
Right.
Okay. Right. And like I said earlier on, if you want to join Charmaine on December 19th for her presentation on employability, just please click this QR as well, or scan this QR code, like her Facebook page, and I'm pretty sure I've been following her videos.
Thank you
very much.
Stalking,
following. Nice way to say it. So she's really good stuff. So you're seriously thinking of changing career or starting new career or whatever it is, because her theme is not just career, it's also a better life.
Yeah, and of course, because we spend most of our times in our careers, then of course it just makes sense that the career actually forms a large part of your life.
Yeah, so follow the career doctor.
Thank you.
And this is my Facebook page. So I'll be slowly shifting from posting on my personal profile to the more work stuff to more of the business page. So please also like and follow my page as well. So that's all we have. I think that's all we have for tonight. And of course, Irene, you do have a lot of videos as well with other professionals and other experts too. So for our viewers out there, do also follow Irene's Facebook page for those videos if you want more content about wellness and how you can, listen to your body a lot better and self-heal. Yeah, thank you you so much. Thank you. So thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah, so we'll see you again. Join us on Sunday. This Sunday. Yes, definitely hope to see all of you on Sunday after lunch. That's right. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye.